Hello and welcome to a new video. Today we're going to take a look at the Fossil Cup and we're going to take a look today at Poliwrath. This Pokemon is going to get a community day very soon, getting the move Counter, but even without Counter, this Pokemon is very cool in this current meta because you're going to have a ton of Steel type Pokemon which you're all going to be able to beat in the Fossil Cup. Only Pokemon from the type of Water, Rock or Steel are allowed, so we're going to have a backline here with Berserker as well as the Registeel. Berserker and Registeel are going to be able to counter those flying types fairly decent as well as for example the Jellicent, which is also going to be an issue for your lead here of the Poliwrath. But of course, here the Berserker is going to be even able to go for another close combat and knock out the opponent's MEWeedle. As you're going to see coming in here the Ferrothorn, where we can go ahead and go into our Registeel. This will completely hardwall the Ferrothorn. They can still go for Thunder if they run it. Thunder is recommended in this meta here right now, but I don't know if everybody is running it right now. And we see Flash Cannon coming through, doesn't do as much damage against us, and we can go ahead and go for the Focus Blast. This is going to knock them out, and we're going to see the Magnezone in the back, and we're only going to see this Magnezone for a little bit because its Dynamic Punch is going to one-shot them, and this is going to be a very good game. Next opponent, let's take a look at this one. We're going to have here right now Poliwrath against Sharpedo. Very difficult lead here, I guess. They have the Waterfall, which is going to chunk me quite a bit here. You're going to see already it's going to do a ton of damage. Sharpedo has an insane attack stat, and we're at least going to be able to bait them here. I'm going to go for one shield as well against them, trying to get another shield back here with the Dynamic Punch coming through right now. Do they shield this move up here? They do not, and I'm going to swap out immediately into my Berserker as you're gonna get out the MEWeedle. And I make a mistake here. I should have went for the close combat here because I would have get the opponent less farm, and that's going to be very important now, as you're going to see. I have of course have to go into my Poliwrath, and I'm going to shield this move up. And honestly, I'm fairly certain at this point of time that I'm going to be able to win CMP against the opponent, and we get to the Ice Punch, and we actually lose CMP. It's actually by quite a bit, which I didn't know before, and this of course going to lose us the match here. But Poliwrath is actually way bulkier than I thought, because usually we only run it in the Great League as well as in like Great League as a Shadow variant as well as like Ultra League. But especially in the Great League, of course, this Pokemon seems to be always super squishy because of the Shadow effect, of course. But yeah, like it's actually way bulkier than, for example, the MEWeedle, which I didn't know before, but that's definitely something that I learned today. Another thing that I learned today is that Swampert is going for a Hydrokin here way too early because it cannot be even an Earthquake, so I can let this move go through, and we're gonna get out the Araquanid. Here we're going to go ahead and go for the Zap Cannon, of course, as Zap Cannon going to be super effective and might even get the debuff onto the attack, which we're gonna get here as well from the Bubble Beam. But this is going to go through here, gonna do a ton of damage, and we're gonna get the debuff here against the opponent, and we can go ahead and go for the Focus Blast. Why Focus Blast? Because I want to undercharge it so I can farm them down with Lock On, as the opponent's Araquanid cannot really do anything against us. We go for the nice variant, and as you're going to see here right now, this is perfect, literally perfect to farm them all the way down. I think it was literally by the HP perfect farm down range for me to get exactly 100 energy without wasting a single, like a single fast move there, which is kind of wild. Like literally perfect under charge. As we're gonna get out the Swampert again, a Ferrothorn is coming in now as well, and we have a 2-shield advantage, so I'm not really too scared here right now. I'm actually going to let the opponent farm me down here, as I can now try to go ahead and farm them down with my Registeel again, as the opponent is definitely in range for that, and as they're gonna go ahead and go for the Power Whip, I will be able to survive it, and as you can see, we can farm them all the way down, go for the Focus Blast, and this is all we need for the 2-shield flex win without even using our other Pokemon back there, our Berserker, which is really cool. So, next opponent, Escavalier lead. Very good lead for us because we have to get this Pokemon here. This is our answer for Escavalier. You win this matchup, usually at least. But you might want to bait here, but here my opponent decides to swap into the Jellicent, allowing us to go for a Zap Cannon in time here as well. Might get the debuff onto the opponent as well, which might be very decent for me. But let's take a look at this one. Zap Cannon coming through here. Going to go ahead and go through and gonna get the debuff, allowing me now to also farm them all the way down. Getting a ton of energy is always really nice here as they go for another Shadow Ball, allowing me to go up to like around 80 energy here, a little bit more even, like close to 90 energy, as he can go ahead and go for a Zap Cannon. Sadly, not gonna get the debuff here, but we can still go ahead and go for the Dynamic Punch straight away, which is going to get the shield from the opponent, and now it depends on what they're going to have in the back. So, let's see. We're going to get a Drill Run here, which we're going to shield, and it's going to be a CMP tie. This is going to be very difficult for me now, because I have to shield this move up, and I didn't expect them to be at the move that fast, so let's take a look at this one. I'm going to knock them out, and they're going to have a crit daily in the back, and that's going to be amazing, as we can see MP tie against the opponent here, and the Dynamic Punch is coming through, going to do a ton of damage. Their move goes completely avoided here, and we can go ahead and go for our Berserker full farm down there and win this game. Let's take a look at the next opponent. Here we're going to encounter the Poliwrath against the Registeel. We kind of went a little bit late into the match here, but this is going to be fine, as they're going to have an Artillery as a say swap. That's kind of funny, as they can go for the Dynamic Punch, and we can now do a ton of damage against them, going for the Ice Punch now as well. Gonna get the knockout immediately, so that's kind of nice for us. Already one Pokemon up. And also, the opponent's Registeel cannot really go anywhere here, like our entire team has at least something to damage Registeel, which is really nice, as he's now gonna get out the Shadow Gyarados. Also a very cool Pokemon for this meta right now, because he's going to be able to do so much damage with just the Dragon Breath alone here, and so definitely a very strong Pokemon for this meta. But we can go ahead and go into our Registeel right now, which will be able to take those moves fairly easily, but actually not even that. As you're going to see right now, Crunch is coming through, going to do a ton of damage actually, plus the Dragon Breath is also doing a ton of damage. But we can go straight for the Focus Burst resisted, but it doesn't matter at this health range anyway, as we will be able to survive that one. And as you're going to see here right now, I'm going to let this move go through, and I'm going to swap out into my Poliwrath. I just need one Ice Punch to win this game, and this is all I need here, as the opponent now has a Registeel, and the Registeel against the two-shielded Poliwrath doesn't really have anything to do. I think my opponent knows it as well. They're just gonna go for the lock on the entire way through here, as they know that this game is over. So, good game there. Let's take a look at the next game coming up. We're going to have here the Poliwrath against a Golisopod. This is horrific. This is like the worst matchup really possible, as the opponent going to be able to go for some extra fast moves there. I kind of want to just get some energy, because yeah, maybe this is going to help us later on, but Golisopod is really difficult to deal with, especially as they get the defense drop there as well. And in comes now Quagsire. There's like one thing with the team here that maybe we should have changed a little bit. Maybe put a different Pokemon instead of Registeel in the back, which might be something like Skarmory, which is actually allowed to get you a little bit more coverage against A, fighting types, and B, also something like the Mudboy Pokemon. So maybe actually Skarmory instead of the Registeel might make some sense, especially as you have the say swap of the Berserker still. You should be fairly fine with a Skarmory in the back, so that might be a little bit better for this team actually. But here we go, of course, having some issues with Mudboys, but we're going to be able to at least get to another move here and catch the move onto our Registeel from the opponent's Golisopod. Hopefully they don't have an answer in the back. Of course, they are running the Swampert, and this team does not make too much sense from the opponent, in my opinion, because at least like when they're going to play it, they're going to struggle a lot against Pelipper, and Pelipper going to be everywhere in this meta. So at least if you're watching this, I at least wouldn't really recommend you this team, because Pelipper going to completely destroy you, or most flying types in general in this meta. But of course here, as we have two Steel types in the back and they have two Mudboys in the back, this was actually a perfect hard counter matchup against me. There's nothing that I can do here. Golisopod hard counters my lead, Quagsire hard counters Berserker, and the Swampert hard counters the Registeel in the back. So that's definitely not really ideal. Let's take a look at the next opponent. We're going to have a Gastron in the lead, as they're going to be also very weak against Flying-type Pokemon with this already, so they must have some answers for Flying-type Pokemon in the back. As they can go for one Dynamic Punch, we will be able to go ahead and use a shield against the opponent's Body Slam coming through, as this is our best answer for those Water and, yeah, Ground types. Here we're going to see another one coming in. So, like, they have to definitely have something against Flying-type Pokemon in the back, otherwise it's going to be a little bit tricky. But let's take a look at this. We're going to see the Mud Bomb coming through. I still get to my Ice Punch, which hopefully they're going to let go through. That would be really nice for me. And they actually do not. So I have to go into my Berserker, but I might still be able to go ahead and go for a charge move here, as I still have to survive this Mud Bomb. And the Foul Play is coming through. I think it's a CMP tie here, and this might save us in this game here. Let's take a look at this. We're going to be able to knock them out. They have a Lucario on the back. What do you do again against a Pelipper? Like, one Pelipper completely destroys you, but they had 3 hard counters to Steel-type Pokemon, and as our team is basically 2 Steel-type Pokemon, it's a little bit tricky there. Speaking of hard counter, let's have another one here. The Araquanid in the lead is going to completely wall the charge moves and fast move of my lead again. I should have most likely stayed in a little bit longer until the opponent throws against me in the lead. But here we're just going to go ahead and go into the Berserker, which will be able to go for some foul plays against the opponent's Araquanid. As we're going to see right now, the foul play is coming through, we're going to get some damage onto it, but way less than I thought. Of course, with all the debuffs here, they are really adding up right now. But as you're going to see, we're going to still get them very low. Can I still get to another one? That would be really crucial that if we would get to another one, because this would put the opponent into farm down range for my Registeel. Of course we don't. And we have to go back into our Registeel, and now we have to still throw a charge move against them, which is not really ideal for us. But it would have been so nice if we would have got the foul play through. So, yeah, this was definitely a mistake by me. Show stayed in long a little bit in the beginning. And also, yeah, would have been very cool to get the foul play off there. Like, literally 1 HP was missing. As we at least still can go ahead and go for one Focus Blast here. And that's going to not knock them out, but a little bit more fast move damage going to be enough. And we're going to get out now the opponent's Galarian Stunfisk. I'm going to farm up a little bit extra energy here and can go now for the swap out and go for the Dynamic Punch. Now with the debuffs cleared, and we're of course going to get hard walled again here with the Pelipper in the back, where there is nothing I can do about it with my Poliwrath. They were definitely prepared for the Poliwrath here, that's for sure, with both the lead as well as their Sasop being completely strong against Poliwrath. My only play is here to go for the Dynamic Punch to try to get them as low as possible. But we have to kind of still go for a charge move here. We had 100 energy, so we are going to have 25 energy left now. But this is enough to knock out the opponent. I'm going to call the Rock Slide bait here right now. And turns out this doesn't really even matter, because the fast move damage from the opponent is quite chunking me. And I feel like that this is not normally how much damage this opponent does against me. I feel like it's because I used my wrong Registeel here. I have a Registeel which has a little bit better IVs but a worse CP stat, and I didn't think about this before, and so right now I have a worse one and they can go for a Rock Slide here. And for the people who thought, oh, he didn't go for the Focus Blast, oh, how could he, like he most likely would have won the game there. No, I still wouldn't have won the game. One Focus Blast does around 65% damage against the opponent's Galarian Stunfisk, and yeah, they were definitely above that, so like they would have won either way, even if I went for the Focus Blast there. So yeah, here we're going to now see the opponent's Ferrothorn against us, which is going to be very nice for us, as we can go ahead and go for our good friend Registeel again. We will be able to go for a Focus Blast against them eventually, as we have now 100 energy stored. We will be able to now go ahead, knock them out, and let's see what's coming back in. Most likely their lead, it's going to be the Quagsire here again, which is going to go ahead and go for another charge move, going to get the damage onto the opponent, and let's take a look. They're going to have to throw against me here right now, which is really decent for me. And we will see that we can go back into our what's called our Poliwrath, go for the Ice Punch. That's definitely in range for it. They're going to let this move go through, and they're going to have a Katana in the back. That's kind of a cool Pokemon that I definitely kind of want to test out as well. But as you're going to see right now, I'm going to be able to kind of hard counter them with the Berserker in the back. So this time around, we were able to hard counter the opponent. And this is most likely something that you're going to encounter quite often. Either like the opponent going to hard counter you, or you going to hard counter the opponent with this meta here, because it's like such a small meta. Great catch by the opponent here, by the way, onto the Ice Punch. I'm still going to be able to get my energy back here, which is going to be nice. But yeah, there's going to be an actually very crucial catch for them, as you're going to see here right now. We're going to see that they're going to now have to take this Zap Cannon. They might want to shield this move up. If we're going to get the debuff here, all is going to be fine, and we didn't get the debuff. And this is actually really crucial. And you're going to see why this is going to be very crucial, as you're going to be able to now to try to go for at least a Zap Cannon. But you have to shield this move up now. Usually with the debuff, this definitely wouldn't be something that we had to shield up, and then we would have an extra shield. But here we're going to be able to now go for another charge move here. At least this time around we're going to get the debuff, but they can now knock me out, which is all not as bad. But I actually didn't expect that they would be still that strong against the Berserker. I thought like Berserker would be way better at taking this move, but like look at the damage here, that was kind of wild. And of course with the lead, I kind of have to keep the energy here, but I'm going to try to get as much energy as possible, but they're going to have a Pelipper in the back, and like this, there's nothing I can do anymore. Honestly, just one debuff earlier, if they didn't catch the move, I would have been fine as well. So it's not really the team that's the issue, it was just kind of unlucky here, so good game to the opponent, they played it very well with the catch, and that's going to be also it for today's video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please leave a like. There's going to be on the screen right now also the top teams for the Fossil Cup, which are going to be available later on. And also, later on, we're going to have a top 5 battles of the week video, which is going to be the first time on my channel. Stay tuned for that, and I'll see you then. Bye bye.